The engine coughed. Once, twice, my blood ran cold. This was it, the moment every pilot dreads. I could feel the vibrations through the controls, a sickening reminder that something was terribly wrong. The small plane, my only way back to civilization, was going down. The snowy peaks below seemed to rise up to meet us, a stark contrast to the serene blue sky we had been flying through just moments before. We lurched violently, the mountain scenery outside my window spinning into a dizzying blur. Impact, metal shrieked, glass shattered. The force of the crash threw me against my seatbelt, knocking the wind out of me. The world dissolved into a chaos of noise and pain. My senses were overwhelmed by the cacophony of destruction, the smell of burning fuel, and the taste of blood in my mouth. I regained consciousness slowly, head throbbing, ears ringing. The silence after the crash was deafening, broken only by the crackling of small fires and the groaning of twisted metal. Smoke filled the wrecked cabin. I coughed, my lungs burning with each breath. I knew I had to get out before the flames consumed what was left of the plane. My body screamed in protest as I pulled myself free, the icy Alaskan air biting at the wounds on my face and arms. Every movement was agony, but I had no choice. Survival instinct kicked in. The plane was a mangled wreck, flames licking at the fuselage. The heat was intense, a stark contrast to the freezing air around me. I had to move away quickly. I was alive, but stranded, alone. The realization hit me hard. I was miles from civilization, with no way to call for help. The vast wilderness stretched out before me, an intimidating expanse of snow-covered mountains and dark, silent forests. It was both beautiful and terrifying, a reminder of nature's indifference. Fear, raw and primal, clawed at my throat. I had to survive. I had to push through the pain and the fear, find food, water, and shelter. I had to find a way out. Every direction looked the same, but I couldn't afford to stay put. I needed to keep moving, to find a path that would lead me back to safety. This was my ultimate challenge, man against nature, in the harshest environment imaginable. I steeled myself for the journey ahead, knowing that my survival depended on my will to keep going, no matter what. The first night was the longest of my life. The temperature plummeted, dropping to levels I had never experienced before. The cold was not just a sensation, it was a living thing, a relentless force that seemed to seep into my very bones, threatening to freeze me from the inside out. The cold, a living thing, seeping into my bones, making every breath a struggle. My body trembled uncontrollably, and I could feel the frostbite beginning to take hold on my hands and face. The night seemed endless, each minute stretching into an eternity, threatening to shut down my body. I huddled under the meager shelter of a fallen tree, my teeth chattering uncontrollably. Fear gnawed at my sanity. Every rustle of leaves, every snap of a twig sounded like a predator approaching. Dawn brought little comfort. The wilderness seemed to stretch on forever, an endless sea of white. Hunger gnawed at my stomach. I knew I had to find food and shelter if I wanted to survive. My training kicked in. I needed to stay calm, assess the situation, and formulate a plan. This wilderness, as unforgiving as it was, held the key to my survival. I remembered reading about edible plants in the region. Slowly, painstakingly, I began to identify them. Berries, roots, anything that could stave off starvation. Anything to keep me alive. Shelter was another priority. Using debris from the plane wreckage and branches, I built a makeshift lean-to. It wasn't much, but it offered some protection from the elements. The process was slow and arduous, my fingers numb and clumsy from the cold. But I persevered, knowing that giving up was not an option. I built a makeshift lean-to. It wasn't much, but it offered some protection from the elements. As I worked, I thought about the days ahead. Each day would be a battle for survival, a test of my endurance and willpower. But I was determined to make it through, to find a way out of this white hell. The wilderness was vast and unforgiving, but I was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. With each passing moment, I grew more resolute, more determined to survive. Days blurred into nights, each one a struggle for survival. The harsh Alaskan wilderness showed no mercy, and every moment was a test of endurance. Hunger became my constant companion, gnawing at my insides and sapping my strength. The scarcity of food was a relentless reminder of the precariousness of my situation. I trapped small animals, rabbits, squirrels, anything to provide sustenance. Each catch was a small victory, a brief respite from the gnawing hunger. I ate berries and scavenged for whatever the frozen earth offered. The search for food was a daily ritual, a constant battle against the elements and the scarcity of resources. Every meal was a victory, a small triumph against the odds. The warmth of the fire and the taste of food, however meager, were moments of solace in an otherwise harsh existence. The wildlife was as much a threat as the cold. Predators roamed the forests, their presence a constant reminder of the dangers lurking in the shadows. One night, a pack of wolves surrounded my camp, their eyes glowing menacingly in the darkness. The air was thick with tension, and the howls of the wolves sent chills down my spine. I fought them off with fire, the flames my only weapon against their snapping jaws. The crackling fire was my shield, its light and heat pushing back the encroaching darkness. The encounter left me shaken, a stark reminder of the constant danger lurking in this wilderness. My heart pounded in my chest, the adrenaline coursing through my veins long after the wolves had retreated. The physical challenges were relentless, but the mental battle was even tougher. Each day brought new obstacles, and the weight of isolation bore heavily on my spirit. Loneliness was a constant weight, the silence of the wilderness deafening. The vast emptiness around me was both awe-inspiring and oppressive, a reminder of my solitude. Doubt crept in, whispering insidious suggestions of surrender. The struggle seemed endless, and the thought of giving up was a persistent shadow in my mind. But I couldn't give up. Each new day was a chance to fight, to survive, and to hope for a better tomorrow. I clung to the thought of my family, their faces my beacon of hope in the darkest hours. Their love and memories fueled my determination, giving me the strength to persevere against all odds.